handmade artist grade watercolor pigments from Korea? You bet your sweet hat pan. Welcome back to the Mind of Watercolor, everybody. Today I think I have a real treat for you. We're going to review this Mijello Mission Gold artist grade watercolor pan set, 24 color set. And in a lot of ways, there's not anything else like it on the market. It's new, so let's get started. Everybody give it up for my studio partner, Reese. You know, several viewers said they were really missing you. They were looking forward to seeing you again. He's tearing up. He gets very emotional. So what's the big deal here? Well, I saw these reviewed on another channel, and I started doing some research, and I got really interested in them. I actually asked them if they would send me some. I've taken it upon myself to review these. They were gracious enough to provide me a review set. Mijello is a company you may be familiar with. They make this triple well bucket that I use. They're pretty well known for their palettes. If you're in, like, say, Michael's or AC Moore, they have some really neat palettes. They have the Fusion palette. They have what they call the Bulletproof palette. And they make other accessories and things like that. Not too long ago, they introduced their Mission Gold watercolor series in tubes. It seems to be a fairly well-received watercolor. It's an artist grade, but they claim it's a handmade, hand-mixed pigment, very intense, very creamy, smooth consistency. So recently, they put out their Mission Gold paints in this pan set. This is a 24 color set, and it's got a lot of unique features. We'll do a little bit of an unboxing, and then we'll look over the set, see what it's all about. All right, so the first thing that I noticed about these is this packaging is unbelievable. If I were to judge paints only on packaging, this thing would win the prize. It's like foil stamped and glossy, embossed over here. And then when you take out the set, it's sleeved in plastic. Just amazing. Now this palette and set is what they call, I think, their bulletproof glass. I'll show you what that means. When you open it inside, it's got this kind of plastic covering to the mixing trays. Very slick, but I mean, look at that. It's got this nice color brochure. Full color chart with their permanence ratings, their transparency ratings, and even their pigment numbers. And only a few of these were multi-pigment colors. I think most of them were single pigment colors. And the only color that was not rated at extremely light fast or good light fastness was this purple here. That was rated as limited light fast. Pull these off, protected with those little trays, and then these little top labels. Which show you the, I actually have this upside down, show you the colors. So already several unique features. The type of pan, I mean, look at the size. This is their pan, which is somewhere between a full pan and a half pan. Here you can see from their brochure their size half pan, a typical full pan, and a traditional half pan. But very unique features. The palette, which is custom, the pans, which are custom. Just really interesting packaging. And so far, at least on appearances only, a very professional artist grade set. Alright, so I'm going to go through the whole palette here and paint out each color just to get an idea of what they look like on paper. This Arches paper, 140 pound. I drew a line through all the swatches so I could get a little bit of an idea of how transparent they are and to see if there's any fairly opaque colors. The first thing that struck me about these paints is just how incredibly fast they re-wet. I mean, just a few strokes of water across each pan, and I had a nice, thick, soupy pool of paint, just very, very quickly. And as I paint these out, I didn't see any. Now they list in their brochure that most of them are transparent, semi-transparent, and only a couple of them were semi-opaque. But they all have very, very transparent properties to me. So for me, the way I paint, that was a plus. I don't like opaques. I don't like semi-opaques very much. But these all struck me as incredibly transparent. And I'm telling you, the tinting strength was exceptional. As I went through, I had no complaints and qualms about calling these artist grade. Very highly pigmented paints, exceptional tinting strength as they went out, and the tinting was very consistent. No weird undertones. This is the complete line of their pans. It's 24. Now in their tube line, they actually have 105 colors. But their open stock on the pans is just these colors, just these 24. So I'm just going to do a couple of handling tests here. And I'm just going to pick a color at random. This is their magenta, I believe. What I wanted to do first was a wet and wet test. I wanted to get an idea of the flow. So I'm just painting down a nice pool of color. And what I'm going to do is coax the color away with some clear water. This is a 300-pound rough paper scrap that I had. Looks good. I don't see any abnormalities. We'll just pick up another kind of randomish color. Handles like watercolor. No complaints there. Now, a lot of these tests, only time will really tell to find out if there are any abnormalities. All right, I'm going to do a little bit of layering and glazing. So we get this yellow here. And while that's drying, I'll do another little handling test. My typical blend. So I've got some paint there. A little graduated blend. Works perfectly. Just going to put a nice little ultramarine glaze over that yellow. I'll put a different color glaze there. Come over here and grab some red. Okay, well, all I've done here is just assure myself that all this paint doesn't have any weird or unusual properties. And you wouldn't expect it to, you know, being claimed as a artist grade, professional grade set. So my conclusion is I think they've got a winner on their hands. I think they've done a really good job. I don't think we can necessarily say that European or American made brands have a corner on really fine artist watercolors anymore. I'm very impressed with them, and I think anybody looking for a set like this would make a good choice in choosing them. Time will tell. I will use them in a few paintings here and there and report my findings if anything is unusual, but for now I think this is good, and you will enjoy these paints if this is something that you were interested in. Thanks so much, everybody, for watching. I hope if this was a help to you, give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more of this content, and we'll talk to you later.